What's up guys, it's Cobalt here, and welcome to another video. It is finally time. I bet maybe you could notice what is behind me, but these are the Series 3 pet pairs, and I am very excited to open these because I've talked about this in my other videos from Wave 1 and Wave 2, and I think it's safe to say that the pet pairs are my absolute favorite when it comes to all of the G7 LPS sets. I have 4 different sets to unbox with you guys today, all of which complete the set for all of the pet pairs in Wave 3, and these are all sent to me by BasicFun, so I really appreciate it, and I will be putting a link down below in the description where you can hopefully purchase these sets for yourself. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. Okay, so before I actually open anything, I do have to briefly address the 2 different packaging styles. I mentioned this briefly in a video that I posted back in January, but some of these are being sold as what's essentially a giant blind box, and the others are being sold normally like a classic pet pair set from any other wave. And that doesn't mean that you can only get certain pets in here and certain pets in here, because if you look at the back of both boxes, all 4 sets are advertised the same way on both boxes. I can only assume that BasicFun is just trying out different things because the same situation happened with the pet tubes as well. But nonetheless, I'm very excited for these. I'm going to start off with the ones that I can actually see so far, which are this Dalmatian and ladybug set and the Cocker Spaniel and Scottish Fold set. This is the one that I'm personally most excited for out of all 4 of these sets. So let's start off with this set right here first. As always, I will do a detailed overview of the entire box, and then from here, the rest of the unboxings will be a little bit speedier. But you can see Series 3, these are LPS number 149 and 156. As pet pairs here, we got the new panda logo. She's very cute. And this is the picnic spot set. So again, comes with a Dalmatian and a ladybug, which is a brand new LPS for G7. And then there are 3 accessories. I really love this basket. That is a nice color. You can see some artwork of all of the pet pair sets on the different angles of the box here. And then once again, on the back, it advertises the 4 that you can collect. So the other ones that we will be getting are hopefully the octopus and hermit crab, Collie and the cow, and then we are definitely getting this one because that's one of the ones we can see. And this set is supposed to come with a ladybug trading card. Just like all of the other pet pairs, the packaging style is exactly the same. So on the back of this part that slides right out of the box is a little package that comes with your coin, your card, and your checklist. So don't forget about this little detail because I know it can be easily missed sometimes. Alright, so here are our paper items. Of course, don't forget to look at the checklist. I've already showed this off in some of my other videos, but the main thing to point out is that there is a brand new symbol for this wave, which is pretty cool. And then of course, here is the card with our ladybug. I think this picture is super adorable. I really love that. She's number 149, friendliest, level 2, and exotic. And here is the Roblox coin with your code. As for accessories, like I already pointed out, there is this basket. The handle actually moves. I recall having one of these accessories from G2, so it's cool to see that this finally returned in G7. I think it's really cute. The paint job on the flowers is only on the front, so it doesn't actually paint the entire thing. I think it would have been nice if that was fully painted. The handle is also quite loose, so it can't just stand straight up. It kind of falls to the side. But since this is a picnic set, it comes with a watermelon and a pizza, and you can put both of them inside the little basket like so. But now, for of course the most exciting part of this set, which is the LPS here. I'm going to start off by talking about the Dalmatian because we've already seen this base several times. This base is often used in G7 for Dalmatians and for Jack Russells, so I think it's cool that it's versatile in that way. But I do have to pull out the checklist really quick to just show you the promotional photo of her. Obviously, prototypes exist and not everything is going to match the promotional photos, but I really wish her eyes match this photo because here she looks really cute. I think her eyes look amazing. They're pointed in a nice direction and she just looks really cute and friendly. This one looks a little bit scary to me because her eyes are kind of pointing up and out. I don't know what she's looking at. I don't know where she's looking. Her eyes are going in 2 completely opposite directions, and that sucks because I think that she legitimately could be a super cute design if it weren't for that, because she's our first naturally colored Dalmatian. I mean, obviously she's got a big heart on her forehead, which is not natural, but it is very cute. I do like the color of her eyes and how glossy they are despite the printing of them that I don't like, but her design is very similar to the Dalmatian from the advent calendars. It's honestly almost exactly the same with some slight color variations in this heart, of course, but the eyes are literally exactly the same. But these ones are definitely sisters, that's for sure. Comparing them side by side though, I've also noticed that the paint job on this one's nose isn't really that great. But on a positive note, I think BasicFun has finally mastered the head to body coloration, because when it came to the white pets in Wave 1, the head would be like blindingly bright white, whereas the body would be more of an off-white. But in real life and on camera, these colors look very close together, which I am very happy to finally see. But now let's talk about the ladybug here. I do have to address her eyes as well, unfortunately, because this one is not fully printed correctly. You can really see it here, the shadow. It's actually quite far away from where her eye socket is supposed to be. This eye looks pretty good placement comparison wise. Her eyes are actually quite flat though, because a lot of the LPS, they have very rounded eyes. This one's not exactly a great example, but this one's eyes are very flat. They don't really stick out as well. So I think that's interesting as well, because of course she is a brand new mold. You can't really see on camera, but it says 2024. I think her coloration is really cute. I really like the hearts on her face that symbolize that she's of the friendliest personality style, and it also matches the heart on the Dalmatian. I like her little wings. She is also one of these smaller ladybugs. I know there's a big ladybug mold and a small one from G2, which I never really collected any of the bugs, but I do have one ladybug that I can compare her with, which is this little guy. Oh my god, he's so tiny. Is he just extra small? I actually have no idea. Like I said, I've never really owned any ladybugs. I don't think that this is the big version. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm tripping. If you guys know about ladybugs, let me know down below in the comments. You can definitely see, regardless, how much flatter this one's eyes are compared to this one. But now it is time for the set with the Cocker Spaniel. I've been anticipating this set probably the most out of a lot of the Wave 3 pets, so I am excited but also nervous about this one. So I am both excited and apprehensive about this. For this one, we got the card of the Cocker Spaniel, which I'm very happy about, and our code, of course. And the Cocker Spaniel here is number 153, chilliest, level 2, and rare. I'm not sure what about her makes her a chilliest pet, but maybe we'll find out when we investigate the design further. I also almost forgot to mention, but this set is called the Lookalikes, which I think is very fitting because obviously these two have a very similar design. We're not going to look at them yet though. We're going to look at the accessories. We have a food bowl, a mouse, and a rope toy. And all three of these accessories are also possible to get in the new Pet Trio set, but I do think that these are incredibly fitting for a set with a cat and a dog. So, Cocker Spaniel and Scottish Fold. The Scottish Fold is a brand new mold, so I think I should talk about her last. From the back, her design is so interesting. I think that this wavy pattern on her actual back is like really cool and unique. The way that the orange sort of bleeds into the white plastic though is very strange. I'm assuming that that's an intentional gradient, but it just doesn't look very good. I'm definitely under the opinion that BasicFun should probably stay away from gradients because they just don't have access to the technology that makes it look nice. Especially here, if you look on the ear, it just looks like a very thin application of paint, especially right there as well. So as much as I love this design, I'm not really that pleased with the way that the one I ended up getting actually looks. Again, obviously super grateful to own this LPS, especially given the fact that she was sent to me for free. But if I were to actually select her for myself in the store, I would have spent a lot of time looking for one that looked perfect. And even then, I'm not sure if I would have ended up buying her at all, because just like in the case of the Dalmatian, her actual promotional image looks so much cuter than the final version that we have gotten. I've also talked about that in a previous video from January, but here is a comparison of her with our other Cocker Spaniel. This can be found in one of the Pet Trio tubes from Wave 3. This one's also not like the greatest quality in the world, but I think that I honestly might like her a little bit better than this one. I absolutely love the color of this one's eyes, but I think that this black line that goes very far down her eyes looks a little bit weird. It kind of looks like it gives her eye bags, and I guess this one is printed the same exact way, but I guess since it's against such a light color, it just looks a little bit off. If the line ended a little bit higher up, maybe where her eye color starts, I think that would have improved her a little bit. But what I can say is that she has very round eyes, which is something that I have been saying that the BasicFun pets really need, is rounder eyes, and her eyes are very, very round. But again, because of the gradients that were attempted here, it makes her eyes even more grainy than they would be otherwise, because the quality of the gradients is just incredibly grainy. But yeah, her orange side definitely looks a lot worse. Very, very pixely on the printing job. And on the bottom here, you can't really see, but it also does say 2024. Her head also just looks a lot rounder here on the bottom of the mouth than our original Cocker Spaniels did, and the top of her head is quite squishy. But speaking of original Cocker Spaniels, there is a comparison. Her design feels very, very reminiscent to this guy, which I think is really cool. I love how it's similar and also completely different and unique on its own. This one has sort of a broken neck peg, so its neck does appear to be very low, but in general, the new Cocker Spaniels do have slightly longer necks than the old one. But I feel like you can also see here on the bottom of her cheeks, they just appear a lot more round, where this one is a little bit more flat. And this one also, I feel like, has more of a defined chin, especially if you look at the side profile. I think all of my gripes when it comes to the quality are completely fair, but when it comes to the actual mold, I am very interested to hear what you guys have to say, because I'm a longtime collector who grew up collecting LPS and have collected them pretty much my entire life. But for people who are just now getting into collecting LPS, or maybe people who never had the opportunity to own a main 5 pet in their childhood, who are now finally getting them, I want to know what you guys think about her. Are you disappointed in the remold? Are you disappointed in the execution of the design? Or are you totally happy with her and you love having her in your collection? Please let me know down below below in the comments. I would love to hear your feedback. But I can tell you right now that this is not a pet I would risk buying in the blind box versions of the pet pairs. But we'll get to that when we get to that. We have another pet to talk about, which of course is our brand new Scottish Fold, starting with the back of the head because wow, she is shiny. The Cocker Spaniel, despite having the same color, does not have that problem. I guess her paint's a little bit shiny, but this is like downright glossy, and the head is so much shinier than the body. I don't know what's up with that at all. It's not like oily or anything, and that's just how the paint is. I think that her LPS symbol being pink is very cute, but now for the reveal, I think she's adorable. I love this cat so much. I think she looks so silly, and honestly, I think she looks pretty stupid, but in the most endearing way possible. Her forehead is so big and her eyes are so close together. She just looks so pathetic, but she looks so cute. So I'm always super excited whenever BasicFun makes a brand new mold, because I think when it comes to reintroducing the LPS brand, even though we want all of the old pets back and everything like that, I want to see some new stuff, especially when it's made to look like the original G1, G2 style. And I think that she fits it pretty well. I do want to compare her to this other Scottish Fold cat that I do have though, and this was from like the G5, G6 era, and I actually think that this one is very cute, but seeing them side by side, this one definitely feels a lot more like a G2 LPS, so I think that BasicFun did a good job of molding her. But again, she has the same problem as the Cocker Spaniel, where the bleeding gradient of the orange just doesn't really work for me, and the glossiness of her paint definitely makes it look worse in my opinion. But I absolutely love her big purple eyes. I think it's a very pretty color. I just think that she kind of looks sad and pathetic, but I honestly really love that. Obviously, since she is a brand new mold, she does say 2024 right here on the bottom. Her tail is actually pretty thin as well, so let's do a little bit of a test here. Ooh. If you bend her tail down all the way, it will probably break off. I did hear a little bit of a snap, but if you're just bending it and playing with it normally, I don't think you have anything to worry about. But this is definitely an LPS that I would love to get the chance to customize in the future. And another detail that I really like about her is that the paw pad on the bottom of this foot right here has a molded paw pad, and it is painted as well. So now we reach uncertainty. I have two of these pet pairs, and ideally, I'm gonna hope that one of them has the Collie and the cow, and then the other one has the Octopus and the crab. What I can tell you is, just like the pet tubes, all of these will come with a different corresponding color. So this one has a purple paw and this one has a green paw. So they're technically not blind boxes in that sense, because you can choose which one you want to get based on which paw color the box has. But they are blind boxes because you still can't see what you're actually getting or what anything will look like once you open it. Again, the back of the box is basically exactly the same to the normal pet pairs, although this worries me because I see the Cocker Spaniel here, but I also see it here on this one. So I'm guessing all the boxes just look the same on the back. Now I will say the packaging style is very, very cute. I love how it sort of looks like a house. It even has a pointed roof on the top. I will definitely be saving one of these. I love the little windows and the door and everything like that, but I just don't love the idea of these being a blind box. I am very much of the belief that blind boxes should stay as, you know, little $5 things where you get one little item, not something like this. But I assume that BasicFun is just trying to test the waters with this and see what people actually think, because that's my personal opinion. Let me know down below in the comments if you share my opinion or if you actually like this type of packaging. All right, so we're opening the purple paw one first. So when you dump everything out, you get the accessories, the two pets, and of course, you know, the card and everything like that. So everything is wrapped in this tissue paper. So we got the Octopus, and here is your Roblox code, but the Octopus is number 154, Sassiest, level 2 and exotic. Pretty cute image, and the Octopus is another new mold being brought back for G7, so that's pretty exciting. Let's take a look at the accessories first. First up, we have a little clamshell. I know there's a set that has come with a blue one of these in the past, but this time it is pink. And then there is a bucket, another reused accessory, but this time it is a new color, and it comes with this shovel, which is an accessory that I have never seen before, so I think that this might be a brand new one. And I really like this. I think the mold is super cute, and I love how there's a little paw pad in the center of the shovel. I think that's actually a really, really cute design, and it fits in the bucket like so. So I really like all of these accessories. I think this one is the crab. I'll just start with this. Right off the bat, the shell design looks super cool. I love the stars. The plastic feels really nice. He's not squishy at all, but I think that's probably because he has such a small head. Or she, maybe. Look at those eyelashes. So it's got the stars on this side as well. I think that's really cool. I really love the colors. There is absolutely no graininess to the eyes based on the way that they're painted, which is really nice. It's a lot like the way that the chameleon's eyes are painted, and they are printed in pretty much the correct position. So I think that honestly, this crab might be the best quality LPS in this video so far. And the bottom says 2024, so once again, this is a brand new mold. I have this very dingy crab to compare it to. This one is in absolutely horrible condition, but it does look like this one definitely has a longer neck. This one's neck is a little bit busted and rusted, so it's going to be shorter anyways. But as far as the actual sculpt of the neck goes, I can definitely tell that this one's longer. This one also does not have this seam that's on this this one's shell or on the claws. You can see there's a big seam kind of on this one's body that the new one doesn't have, so that's pretty cool. Aside from those changes, I think everything about the head pretty much looks exactly the same to me. But again, I've never been super big on the hermit crabs, so I never really owned too many of them, but I actually really like this guy. And now for the octopus. This one's eyes are pretty pixely. This one just looks a little bit strange, but I'm not sure what's going on there. But again, printing placement is very good, but I do not own any LPS octopuses, so I cannot compare this to anything, unfortunately. But based on my memory of the octopuses, I think it looks pretty spot on. Again, though, on the bottom it does say 2024, so it's a brand new mold. This one's actually very bobbly as well, and I think her design is pretty cute. She is also not super squishy. I gotta press pretty hard to get that amount of squishiness. Despite the fact that both of these were in blind box style packaging, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with their quality. I think they both look pretty good, but neither of these are LPS that I would necessarily be like jumping at the chance to add to my collection, because these aren't personally the types of LPS that I like. But if you guys are collectors of the crabs and the octopuses and the sea animals in general, definitely let me know what you think about these. On to the final box, the one with the green paw that hopefully has the collie and the cow in it. Again, very excited, but also nervous for the collie, so I feel like it is fitting that it's the last one that we open. All right, so here is everything. Here is the coin, and luckily we got the cow card, which means that the collie will be in the set. He looks very cute on the card. See if she actually looks like that in real life. But this cow is number 150, hungriest, level 2, and exotic. All right, so first up for accessories is this hat. This is another accessory that used to exist in G2 and it's now returning. This definitely goes on the collie, and it feels really nice quality, so I like this a lot. And then we got a brand new accessory that looks like a brand new mold as well of a little cake. The sculpt is actually quite detailed, but this is a hollow piece, so it's a little bit of a cheaper feeling plastic. And then finally, another brand new accessory mold is this little latte. This is super cute. I also love the inclusion of a little paw here, so it definitely feels like an LPS accessory, and I think that this is a lot of fun. I love seeing the brand new accessories that BasicFun has been adding to the world of LPS as well. So I feel like I gotta save the collie for last, right? Wow, look at her. Okay, so luckily, just like our Dalmatian, the whites on the head and the body look super accurate. They look like exactly the same color. That's super nice. Her eyes, though, look really strange because her eye shines are giant, but also a little bit translucent. So they look a little bit gray and they don't look super bright. And that's a little bit unfortunate. Her hair is also glossy, but like historically, the cows have always sort of had glossy looking hair. But yeah, her eyes just look super flat to me. And I know I was literally complaining about gradients earlier in this video, but the gradient on her muzzle actually looks amazing. I think this might be the greatest gradient that I've seen from any G7 pet, and I really love the color of her eyes as well. And of course, she also says 2024. Regardless of what I think about the overall design, which I actually do think is quite cute, I am very happy that the cows have now returned to G7 because I love the cow bases and I really like making customs from cow LPS, so I think that's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's really strange because I actually really like her eyes. I think that the color looks amazing and the curvature of the color looks amazing as well. It's just that these circles here feel way too large to me and they're not very bright white. Like if I pull the Dalmatian back out here, you can see how vibrant's not necessarily the word because I don't think white can be a vibrant color, but just how bright it is in comparison to these, which look very diluted and don't necessarily make her look very lively. Her eyes also just aren't as glossy as this one either, so it's a little bit strange. But now for the moment of truth, does the collie look good? We are about to find out. Okay, honestly, from this angle, I love it, but I don't really love it from this angle. So a lot of people were saying that this base also looks kind of weird along with the other new main 5 pets, but I honestly don't think the base looks bad. I think it actually looks pretty serviceable. Again, I think it's really interesting that BasicFun decided to go with the paw up collie instead of a standard collie, but this is definitely a throwback to the original collie from G2 or G1, but I will be showing you a comparison of that, of course. Again, not super happy with the way the gradient looks here on the snout, and definitely has a serious receding hairline. I'll pull out the checklist here again. I suppose it does basically look like the same design, although the darker color on here looks a lot lighter and seems like more of a faded gradient, whereas here it's very dark and very much like a sharp line, so it just ended up looking a bit strange in the final execution. The eyes are also pretty interesting, but I don't mind it, although they are also super grainy, and I feel like that's partially due to the gradient on the snout, but the gradient doesn't stretch that far, so I'm not really sure what's up with that. Aside from those issues though, printing wise, everything is printed in the correct area, so luckily that's fine. Again, considering that this was a blind box style of packaging, I am satisfied with what I got, but I do wish that a lot of pieces pieces of this design were changed. But of course, here is a comparison to the original Collie. Once again, I gotta say the same thing that I said with the Cocker Spaniel. I love how round the eyes actually are in their design. I also like the eyelashes that are done here. They're pretty unique and I think they're really cute. So this is the only other officially released paw-up Collie aside from the one with the open mouth. So this is the best comparison I can do here. Although since this is the very first Collie, it's not necessarily the best comparison to do with the G7 LPS since they are more reminiscent of the G2 pets than they are the G1 pets, and this is a red magnet G1 pet. As you can see, the side profile definitely looks a lot more interesting. Again, the head and neck is taller. This one's head also looks flatter to me, but the molding of the fur sculpt and everything like that pretty much looks the same. And this guy falls over quite a bit, so let's see if... Yeah, this one falls over too, which is totally fine. Like, that's to be expected with a pop Collie. I'm also going to compare it to this one here because I feel like their designs are pretty similar. This one honestly reminds me a lot of the fake version of this one, which isn't me trying to complain about it, but there is a fake version of this LPS that has eyes that are the same color as this one, which I just find kind of interesting. But yeah, I definitely think I would like this LPS a lot more if it didn't have the fuzzy gradient on the snout. I think that it would have been better if maybe it was just a solid color like this one, and if this color on the top of the head wasn't so dark, or if it actually did have more of a gradient. I think that would have helped it out a lot more. But I do really love the color of this one, this nice reddish brownish orange. It's a brand new color that I haven't seen used on any G7 pets yet, and I would definitely like to see it on some future LPS. Anyways, once again, here are all of the LPS that I opened in today's video. I ended up putting the hat on the Collie and it looks really funny to me. It just looks like he has a giant head now. But anyways, if you guys have been lucky enough to find any of these LPS in stores so far, let me know what you personally think of them and which set is your favorite. I think my favorite might actually be the Collie and the cow set, although I really do love this LPS here. That should have been my favorite set, but I'm not very happy with the Cocker Spaniel. But again, these are all my personal opinions. I think it's important to critique things like this, especially when it comes to my role as an LPS ambassador. But at the same time, I love Littlest Pet Shops and I'm super grateful to have gotten all of these sets in the first place. So there is something that I can find to like about all of them, even if there are things that I don't like and can technically complain about. But yeah, going forward, I think the biggest things that would help to improve some of these LPS is to either find a better way of doing gradients or to stop doing them altogether, and if possible to also stop remolding the LPS. I'm not exactly sure why a lot of these LPS and the main 5 pets in particular had to get remolded with a 2024 stamp on the bottom when initially for wave 1 of G7 a lot of them had the original dates and were clearly taken from the original molds. So I'm not really sure like how that process works or anything like that. If you guys have any insight or theories, please let me know down below in the comments. While I clearly do have my own opinions and a lot of things to say about these, I also think that it's important to give a generalized review and let you guys form your own opinions. But let's continue this conversation down below in the comments. And of course, thank you once again to BasicFun for sending me all of these pets to review. I have a lot of videos like this that have already been posted and a lot more coming soon, so be on the look for that or watch those if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!